Hey there, Parker Reed here, and welcome to PR Media, your home for everything movies and music through my eyes. And today we have a review of the brand new 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray edition of the latest film from Edgar Wright, Last Night in Soho. An aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. However, the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something far darker. Going into this review, I had not seen Last Night in Soho before. I meant to see it when it came to theaters, but I just didn't get around to it, and overall, I really enjoyed it. Edgar Wright is always an interesting director. I enjoyed Baby Driver when it came out. I thought it was great on a technical level, but from a storytelling perspective, it lacked just a little bit, especially in the third act, and that's exactly how I feel about Last Night in Soho. It's an interesting blend of thriller, drama, and horror, and while the horror aspects aren't handled the best, especially towards the end of the third act, I did think it was a pretty competent movie, and it's an original piece, so we gotta support movies like this if we want to continue seeing original films. So I would casually recommend you watch Last Night in Soho, the film itself, but I recommend you check out this 4K transfer. Let's find out. If you decide to pick up Last Night in Soho on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray in the United States, there's only one version to pick from, and is the standard edition slipcover you see here. On the cover, we have some beautiful poster artwork of the new Edgar Wright film. On the back of the release, we have some information about the movie itself, its technical specs, as well as what special features are offered. Here is what the spine looks like. Then when you take off the slipcover, the case itself looks exactly the same as its slipcover counterpart. When you open it up, on the left we have a Blu-ray disc, and on the right we have that beautiful 4K disc. For visuals on Last Night in Soho, we have upscaled 4K, and this is in widescreen, so you will have black bars at the top and the bottom, and I think the cinematography here stood head and shoulders above every other aspect of this disc. To say this movie is beautiful from a cinematography standpoint would be putting it extremely mildly, because all of the dark imagery on screen and all the dark thoughts being presented are very contrasted by a lot of the neon lighting of London here, and overall the HDR here really helps that out, really brightens all the brights and darkens all the dark scenes, and I think it stands out from a visual perspective. It did look a little bit upscale to me. There seemed to be a bit of a film over the top of it. The detail wasn't spectacular. It did look like a pretty solid, like, upper tier Blu-ray disc. I didn't get 4K vibes from it all the time, except for the HDR here as far as detail goes, but overall it's a decent looking picture. For audio, we have Dolby Atmos, and it's fantastic. The Dolby Atmos track here is pretty solid as well. A standout of Last Night in Soho is the soundtrack, which is filled with a lot of great 60s pop tunes, and they all pop here with a decent amount of bass, and while this type of music isn't really associated with having a big bass response, it does sound pretty good here in this mix. You can always hear the dialogue, and overall I thought this mix was serviceable. It wasn't pounding away at my sound system, whatever, it wasn't shaking the walls or the ceiling, but overall it was serviceable, and it did the movie justice. So would I recommend Last Night in Soho on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray? I'm going to say yes, but this is a wait for a sale item. I think at $30 this movie is, it's just not worth that to me. I think the ending kind of shit the bed a bit, but overall it is a movie I would recommend, and I would recommend you pick it up on 4K. Just wait for a bit of a sale, because I think you'll be able to get this for a better price pretty soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw here, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. My name is Parker Reed. You've been watching PR Media. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Do you believe in ghosts?